This is a demo of Lego Labs Ghost System version 3 that is being used to create daily animated shows. I'm going now to give you an overview of the principles on how to produce that show. It is not an in-depth tutorial, it is only the principles. The interface is divided in 3 parts. Part 1 being scenes and tools, Part 2 video output, Part 3 timeline. The scenes, or rather the cameras, works like a switcher, live video switcher. If I click on this one, and every time I click you will see a red circle around the mouse. When I click on this, the video output changes. Click here, changes, click here, changes. So it's a live video switcher. You can have up to 144 cameras. If you don't have enough in that, we can probably make a version that is a bit bigger. But 144, you just click here to go to the other. Normally you only need a handful. But you can keep different shows, different elements of various locations on each page, so you can go and jump from location to location. It works, as I said, as a live video switcher. Do not pay attention to that the characters are not in the scene. That is because the character has not been asked to come into the scene, to enter the scene yet. All the characters here, they have a possibility of coming in a scene, doing things, talk, being lip-synced, and then leave. The tools section I'll get back to a little while, but here are the settings menu. The camera is exporting the project, and here are some overlays. You can add rain or snow, or turn it into night, or make it less transparent, so as if you're looking through a window, or put an overlay in so it looks like it's a video frame, etc., etc. And up here is some transition tools that is not yet in function. Video output here is just a preview, so if you see it kind of moving staccato or it's flickering, that's because it cannot keep up with the computer and what you ask it to do. But once you export it, it will be correct. Just a preview. The timeline is the very most important thing, because the timeline keeps track of your whole project, of all the element that comes in and all the behavior of the elements. The timeline, as a minimum, need to have a scene timeline that keeps track of all the changes in the scene. Besides that, we can have an animation timeline that can be assigned. We have more than one animation timeline. Each animation timeline can be assigned, has to be assigned to a character. So all the movements of the character, such as entering, leaving, turning their head, jogging, making gestures, whatever, is being recorded on that timeline per character. Then there is an audio track that if you upload an audio, you can assign that, or again you have to assign that to a character. That character will then be lip-synced with that audio. And then we have the track of the overlays. In order not to confuse you too much, I'll just show you how to basically record and change in the scenes, and then I will load a finished project. Go into the scenes. You can see there is a play button and a record button, and up here is the project, is a play, stop, rewind, and loop button. The record button is now on, as it is red. If I click on it, it will be off, and then it will not record what I'm doing up in the switcher part. But let us record, let us start, and let us start with frame number 1 or camera number 1. And you can see it is recording time or frame. You can change that if you want. Here, change to camera 2. After a while to camera 3, jump to 16, back to 5, up to 4. Let's stop and go back here, and then we can replay it. And it will replay just like we recorded it. And now it's about to change. Now it changes, just like we recorded it just like we did in the kind of live part. Let us zoom in on the timeline here. Let's stop the show. Let's go back to the start. And well, the first camera, that was a bit too long, wasn't it? So let's move it. Sorry. Let's move it a bit. You just click on it and then you move it to no need beat a bit. And then we go, it just drags the rest of the project this way. And number 2 is then too long, so let's add a scene in after scene 2. Let's put scene 5 in here instead. Now we have scene 5, and we can go and we can replay it, and now it will change scene here, and then shortly after here. You can also delete it if you want. You just click on it and it deleted. The cut to camera 5 was deleted. Now if we delete cut to camera 16, it will only be 5. And now I will load a show. It is like that. You can save a timeline and you can then load it again later and work on it. Let's load a timeline from one of the German shows. Double click on the timeline window and it comes up because there's a lot of timelines here that we need to look at. Okay, again here we have the scenes. Let's zoom out a bit so we can see a little bit. This is an actual show. We have the characters Steffi, Alas, Gerke, Coffee Machine, Rocky, Udo as animation tracks. Those are the light blue colored. Then we have dark blue colored, and that is audio tracks attached to Udo. So Udo is saying something, Alas is saying something, but there are more timelines than that. Gerge is saying something and Steffi is saying something. The radio and the coffee machine are also actors, and they don't have any lip sync. Radio technically could have a lip sync. You could have a VU meter bumping up and down and coming with announcements or playing music. But everything that you need to control in a scene is defined as actors, so it does not necessarily have to be a human being. It can be a coffee machine or it can be a radio. And you don't have to attach a sound file. Radio and coffee machine does not have a sound file attached. Again, you can go in, like in the scene, you can go in and you can edit. You can go in, let's take the lip sync first. We're not satisfied with the lip sync. Okay, I have to zoom in very, because you have one lip sync per frame, so I have to zoom in on each frame. You click on it and you can see that the system has determined that the lip sync right there is a U. And here an M, an E. It will change it, and then you keep that change, record that change. It will not override it. If we go into the individual characters, let's see Steffi. Here, focus 3. Again, we can move the change of focus so it is better timed. We can delete it. Let me go here, like that. Or let's put it in again. You just click on the timeline and then you select. And you can see here is the enter leave. Is the character was not in the scene. They have to enter it. You can decide when you build the scene whether the characters are on stage when the scene is loaded or not. All these scenes, the characters have not been loaded. So here you can enter you can have the enter leave animation, but they have all entered. In this setup, in this show timeline, they are all present. So if I click here, she would leave. Let's try that and enter leave animation here. I will now go back to the beginning, and now I will play the show for you for a couple of minutes where you can see what it actually is. I think I should maybe make the timeline a bit smaller so you can see the window up here.
Steffi, machst mir Mettbrötchen?
Nee, muss ich erst schmieren. Milch und Zucker nehmt ihr selber, ne? Was gibt's Neues?
Ja, Leute, ich hab die Tourdaten von Hohmeier Wurst- und Schinkenteam. Zack, bonjour.
Was ist das denn?
Das Wurst- und Schinkenteam aus dem Supermarkt, die haben da jetzt Probierstand.
Lass mich raten, und da stehst du rum zu betteln? Ja, und der Mann zu.
Wieso das denn? Die sprechen einen doch an.
Nee, Georg, lass mal. Meine Schwester hatte auch mal einen Probierstand mit so einer herzhaften Eierpaste. Dann ist man froh, wenn da überhaupt einer an den Stand kommt.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Ich schlender da so gemütlich mit meinem Rotwein durch den Gang. Dann denk ich noch, jetzt was Deftiges.
Moment mal, mit einem Rotweinglas durch den Supermarkt? Also allmählich...
Hallo,
ja,
da ist
also,
Weinprobe.
Ah, die ist, wo man selber zapfen kann, an so einem Automat.
Ja, da wirst nicht belästigt.
Ja.
Höchstens mal, wenn eine Flasche alle ist. Dann muss klingeln.
Ich verstehe.
So producing an animated episode is easy using this system, but how do you actually produce the assets, the underlying assets? Because once the assets are there, it takes no time to produce an episode of 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes. The assets like over here, the characters, the props, the background, I'll show you. You go into the menu point, go into scene, setup, and it takes a little time, and here you can select the location. Right now we only have Steffi Stebistro, but you could have defined a number of locations. Go into the locations, you select which backgrounds you have. Let's just pick this one. You can write text if you use it for presentations or fillers or things like that. You can put an overlay on. Right now we have only one overlay, so you click on the overlay and the overlay is positioned here. You can move it around, put it forward and backward in the Z layer. Again, you can open, import different overlays that you have defined, etc. You can go into the characters and load a number of characters, again from different locations. Let's, for example, take the coffee machine character. Where was it? It was here. This takes a little while because it has to copy all the animations and all the information in, and then you can move it around. Finally, you can go and you can save the scene, and in the location, call scene name test scene. Okay, and then we go to the menu, go into the scene editor. That's where we set up the scenes here, and we'll pick our location. We only have one location, Steffi's Stebistro, and we can go in here, and then we should find the, let's see where the last one is. Yes, our test case, this one. Put it here, and then we go back to run show, and now it loads this scene, and then we have this scene available. And you can see the character has some random animations with coffee dripping, steam coming up. First time, your very first show using this system, after you have developed the assets, it will probably take you 3-4 hours for 1-2 persons to produce a 5-minute episode. But very shortly after a couple of episodes, 10-15, you're down to 1-2 hours for just one person. Once you have all the assets, just putting it up and producing the finished animation. And when you're finished, you go here, click on the camera, and you can export it either as a frame stack or a AVI video. You can choose your codec for the video, and you can choose your codec for the audio, and you can choose your frame size. Okay, that was the demo.